he do all that just to find out if he sacrificed his career just to find out that she actually is the one who did it? Because once again, we still don't know who did it. We still don't know who did it. We just know that Michael's alibi was false, but we already knew that. We already knew that. But yeah, Chase said Willow's freedom is worth his career. Gio called Brooklyn mom, y'all, and they hug. I said, oh, I said, Dante, you messed up. I said, Dante, I said, how is he the one that didn't know nothing about nothing and he's still on the outside? I said, see, he messed up. But yeah, Gio called Brooklyn mom. Laura found Dawson and she called Sonny. I said, now, ain't they making the situation worse? Because don't they both have alibis? When Sewell shot Dalton, wasn't Laura with Lulu and wasn't Sonny at the Metro Court? I think he had just walked in though, so maybe he don't got an alibi. But I said did they just make it worse? But yeah, Jason tried to get Brie to open up to him, but she was still talking about being first. I was like, what you think this is? Just tell him the truth before you be up out of there. Somebody gotta know something about what's going on. Christina was just talking to Jacinda. And Molly and Cody, I don't think they kissed. They were just dancing and stuff. I was waiting on them to kiss because every time they tried to kiss before, it got blocked. But that's it, y'all. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another review of Life of Chess. This for General Hospital, November 21st, 2025. First things first, let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. What y'all think? Did y'all like the episode? Okay, so we're gonna start with Laura. So they did a repeat where she went in the trunk, she found Dalton's body or whatever. She checked for a pulse, there was no pulse or whatever. She started freaking out. She got in the car. She was just scrolling, trying to figure out who to call. She tried to call Alexis. Alexis didn't answer. At first she was gonna call Kevin, but she was like, he can't help because he out of town, he out of the country or whatever. So she ended up calling Sonny, but before Sonny got there, Nathan got there. Look, he said she said she had a flat tire or whatever. So he was like, okay, yeah, I could help change that. So he was going to the trunk. She was just about to stop him, and Sonny showed up. So Sonny wanted to know what they're dealing with. He opened the trunk and seen Dawson. He ends up calling Jason, and Britt was just about to open up to Jason as a dog, but he still supposed to be talking to her on Monday's episode, trying to get her to open up. I said, you better tell somebody. But they did say they be watching her. They're gonna be watching her. So I don't know. And then they slipped that medicine in her room. I was like, Britt, you might be taking a chance, girl. But yeah, Sonny ends up taking Laura back to her office, and she was just going over who was mad about the election because Sonny said it had to been somebody who wasn't happy about the results of the election. So she was like, Drew, she was like, Ezra, and she was like, it was Sitwell. And I said, right on, there you go. I said, ain't it about time, isn't it about time for Sitwell and Drew to go down? And isn't it about time for us to know? Look, at this point, I don't know. Because I was waiting. I was like, okay, maybe Friday's episode will be the episode where they tell us who did it. How long are they going to drag this out? But yeah, next we got Britt and Jason. Like I said, he was just trying to get her to open up. He told her about Rocco, how Danny and Charlotte going to come forward. What else did he tell? He wanted to know how she had a key fob to Dalton Lab if they was working together. Because she already knew that they was I think, hold on, let me see. He knows that they was working together or whatever, so he just wanted her to verify. But she was like, she needs to know that she could trust him, that he gonna put her first. I said, here she go again. So next thing you know, Sonny called, and he was looking at it, debating about if he should answer. And she's like, right on the cue. So he answers, and he's like, I'm sorry, or whatever. And she slammed the door, and she was just crying and stuff. And I was like, you might as well have just told him. Might as well have just told him. That way he would have known what was going on before he went to get rid of the body or whatever. But yeah, that's all that happened with them. Molly and Christina was just having a night out. That's when they see Cody. So Christina saw Jacinda, and she used that as an opportunity to allow Cody and Molly to spend time together. Look, I was waiting on them to kiss. I'm interested in seeing how they are as a couple. But yeah, so they just started dancing and stuff like that. That's all that happened with them. I don't think they went back to Christina and Jacinda, did they? I think they was talking about Charlie's or whatever. She said she can't reopen it for some reason. Sonny and Gio and Sonny were just talking about the same thing. Gio said that Dante don't want him as his son. Sonny was like, that's not true. So he was just trying to encourage him and stuff like that. Michael's the one that reached out to Gio because he said Brooklyn needed him. So when he got to the hospital, that's when they started talking, and she was saying how Dante don't speak for her. How she basically don't blame him. It wasn't his fault because he didn't tell the kids to go break in. And if he had known about it, he would have stopped them. So they was just talking about that. So he called her mom. I said, oh, he called her mom, and he hugged her. How do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about that? Michael came up, and he was smiling and everything. Brooklyn and Michael, look, I skipped the part. Brooklyn and Michael, what was they talking about? I think they was talking about Ned, and they was talking about Gio and everything. And that's all that happened with them. Alexis Chase took his whole happy tail. He just smiled. He just so happy. He done went in her office smiling to myself. Michael lied about his alibi and I can prove it or whatever. So he went to tell her that basically he talked to Ezra. Ezra validated his thought that they was together. That Jacinda and Ezra was together that night that Drew got shot or whatever. And she was like, I can't put you on a stand because of your history or whatever. Then she was trying to tell this man, you jeopardizing your career or whatever. Is it worth it? He told me, I said, Willow's freedom is worth his career or whatever. That's okay. I said, so Brooklyn and him over at this point. So they over. So y'all trying to put these folks back together. I seen a post. I don't know if it's true or not. Let me say that first. They said that the lady that plays Willow is supposed to be leaving. I don't know how true it is, but that's what they said. Let me know if y'all seen that as well, if y'all know if that's true or not. But they saying she's supposed to be leaving because she was at odds with somebody on set. And I was like, I said, she doing a good job playing Willow, though. I said, I hope not. I said, well, hope not. They need to, if they gonna send her away, they need to send her to a crazy house. Then she could go. They just send her to the crazy place. But nah, I was like, come on now, everybody can't be leaving these shows now. But yeah, what else? Like I said, she was just telling Chase that you risking a lot. You trying to go under the department after they already told you to drop it. And she was asking him if it was worth it. He basically said yes, and he was like, he gonna prove it. He gonna prove it or whatever. And I was like, see, Jacinda shouldn't have lied. She shouldn't have lied. Michael shouldn't have went doing stupid stuff. Gio and Brooklyn, we already talked about that. I think we pretty much talked about everything, y'all. Yeah, the last thing was that Laura realized that it was Sidwell. Jason was in the car. He fixed the tire, and then he got in. He drove it off. Sonny said that the car was going to be in Laura's driveway or whatever. But Dalton, he going to disappear. And I don't know what they're going to be talking about on Monday's episode because Sonny's supposed to tell her, you open us up for criminal charges. And I said, right. I said, didn't they make the situation worse? I mean, she did threaten him because she was thinking about that, about how she was talking, basically threatening Dalton or whatever. But at the same time, didn't they both have alibis? I know they had a whole lot going on where she can't stay away from Sonny and stuff like that. And Dalton did that to their grandson, so they would make them look guilty. But if y'all had alibis, like, and the Metro Court got cameras and all this other stuff, like, did they mess it up? I don't know. I really don't know. But at the time that Dalton had got shot, it looked like Laura was with Lulu. I don't know though. But yeah, that's all that really happened, y'all. How do y'all feel about this episode? What did y'all think? What time is it? Let me see. Where's my other phone? It's 3:09. What did y'all think of the episode? Let me know down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great